Hey, this is Khadijah.
And I'm Binah. And we're the hosts of Queens of Gossip, where the conversation is real, raw, and almost always funny.
Catch us gossiping about everything and anything from sex, marriage, and pregnancy to work, politics, and finances.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's Binah here, one of your two hosts for the Queens of Gossip podcast. I hope life has been treating you well. Now that we're into March, I figured let's recap what's happened in February. February was not only Black History Month, Family Day, but also Valentine's Day. A day, in my opinion, where everyone deserves to be shown a little extra appreciation, especially those who spend the majority of their time caring for others. So I thought, why not ask some of our Queens of Gossip fans what Valentine's Day means to them? And so we're going to use their feedback to launch the beginning of our relationship series. So let's just jump right into it. I know we got quite a few comments and feedbacks about Valentine's Day, but let me just say I'm only going to highlight the ones that I thought were either particularly funny, resonated with me, or, was important to share. So one of the ones that I found was a little bit negative but good to share, we're going to start off on a high note here, is I feel like Valentine's Day tends to feel like obligated love pressure. Not everyone can splurge for a fake holiday. Now, that was a feedback that someone gave. But then if you think about it logically, right, you don't need to splurge, because another comment would be, there are 3 things that you can do to spice up Valentine's Day, breakfast in bed being one of them. Breakfast in bed is free. I mean, given you have groceries, it's free. That's not something you have to splurge on, right? And then you have other things like this person's response. I don't have any particular feelings about Valentine's Day, but I like to eat the chocolates, roam through all the Valentine's Day stuff in the stores, and snuggle with snacks and TV. Again, you're not splurging, you're making use of what you have available and the sales, especially the sales that come after Valentine's Day. But then I also like this response from someone else. Their response was, I feel if you haven't told your partner more often how much they mean to you and not been much affectionate lately, this is the time to do so. I think this should resonate with a lot of us, especially those of us who are in relationships, regardless of the type of relationship, right? Showing appreciation is always, appreciated, if I'm just saying that. So some of the suggestions that were made are surprise gift, date nights, spend more time together, things like that. Those are definitely things that we want to highlight. Another good one actually is relaxing at home, taking an evening walk, or going out for dinner. Myself personally, I feel like if it's Valentine's Day and you consistently cook and clean, like that's your daily routine, definitely going out for a nice romantic dinner where you can get dressed up and feel appreciated and seen is 100% what the day should, in my opinion, be about. So another interesting one that I like, let's see. Oh, this is a good one. So someone said it's a nice day. They like movies, going on long drives, passenger side. I like that distinction. Because, yeah, you can go on a long drive, but do you really want to drive yourself? No, the joy of enjoying the scenery and watching time pass you by is definitely something that you can really soak up when you're in the passenger side. Also, trying new foods, couples baths, things like that are nice ways to spend your Valentine's Day. But I know there are a few of us who also have kids, right? So Valentine's Day might very well mean something different for those of us with young kids, especially young kids that are in school, right? So I have a good one that someone shared. So I have no feelings towards Valentine's Day. 3 things I do, I can only say 1, create V-Day cards for my kids to hand out to their class. If my kids are lucky, I will get them chocolate as well. So that's a nice thing, right? Because as your kids, especially I have a toddler, a 1-year-old toddler, when they get to JK, senior kindergarten, first grade, when they really understand what Valentine's Day is about, then you can always buy those little cute fold-up Valentine's Day cards with the different types of chocolates that they can share with their friends in school. I remember that from school as well, especially when you get to high school And then you have people who buy you the rose and things like that. Those are cute. What other things can we share? This is a nice, sensual one. Valentine's Day to me is all about love and reiterate it by giving gifts. So going to dinner, bonding with your soulmate, sharing flowers and chocolates, decorating, playing love music, things like that. That's how we always have those people who have children at the end of the year, February. I'm just kidding. So let's see. What are the other feedbacks that people gave? This is a different one. Someone said that they perceive Valentine's Day as just another day. You can travel to places unique to your culture, hike and run, and nothing can spice up the day because it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, that's one outlook. But then you have to wonder, maybe it's because Valentine's Day has a different meaning to everyone depending on what area of their life they're in. Maybe they're more in like me time kind of like era where they're focusing on building themselves, finishing schooling, maybe growing their career, right? Maybe you won't foresee or perceive Valentine's Day as, that romantic, that like cliche. Whereas like if you're in a new relationship, for example, and you have like very romantic partners, then Valentine's Day could have a different meaning to you there too, right? Because you wanna like surprise one another and like make yourselves feel very much appreciated, especially at the beginning of a relationship. Maybe fancy dinner, great gifts, a whole bouquet of roses, chocolate, breakfast in bed, dinner, things like that, right? But then as you progress through time, I feel, not always, because there are some people who like always keep the same traditions or evolve their traditions year to year for Valentine's Day. But then you also have those situations where like as the time progresses, Valentine's Day kind of loses its meaning in a way because you perhaps try to show affection and appreciation more daily, like more in your everyday conversations and responses to one another, things like that. So those are like a good chunk of the feedback that we got back from our fans. But then speaking from experience, how do I perceive Valentine's Day? I feel like over the last 2 decades, Valentine's Day has kind of evolved for me. Like previously, before being in a relationship, you look forward to Valentine's Day because like my mom would buy you like a whole box of chocolates, a stuffed animal, like you have a collectible every year. I have so many stuffed animals because I've always gotten a stuffed animal and like a box of Valentine's Day chocolates for Valentine's Day from like my mom. But like now I find Valentine's Day comes and goes and you have like moments, but it's not like, I don't know, it's just different. Depending on where you are in life, Valentine's Day has different meanings, right? And depending on the relationship you're in, it also has different meanings because like now, right, you have Valentine's Day where, you hope for your spouse to provide you with some nice chocolates and flowers if you like flowers. I don't particularly care for the flowers, so stuffed animals help. But then you also have other holidays that come up, right, that may have more meaning to you, like, let's say, Family Day, which was also in February. But then you have, like, Mother's Day, which is in May, right? And you're like, okay, let's hold out and get something phenomenal for that because, like, depending on the type of relationship you have, maybe that one holds more meaning. So what we're just trying to get at is we just wanted to highlight what we did in February. Black History Month was a big one. We did talk about... we did post a speech, right? And then we had Family Day, which is where you just kind of take a moment to spend some time with your family, reconnect, especially when when work is hectic, life is hectic. It's nice to have that time to reconnect. And then going forward for the month of March, we do want to highlight our relationship series. So I'm just going to give some feedback and comments about what we hope to cover during the relationship series, just to get people's thoughts going, thinking of things that they might want to ask or hear, things like that. So some of the big ones is relationships, right? But when you say a relationship, it might not just be like a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be a bond between mother and child, father and child, friends, co-workers, colleagues, right? It all depends. There are so many different types of relationships that the content is relatively extensive. So if you have a preference, don't forget to shout out in our comments. We have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, things like that, where you can just throw out what you'd like to hear, things that you'd like to be discussed. And that's kind of what the whole goal is for March, is to just get a better idea of how you can build relationships, solidify them, and make them work for you, right? Because every relationship, there's give and take. The most important part for our relationship series is we want to be able to discuss the importance of effective communication in a relationship and provide tips for improving communication with different types of partners within a relationship, be it your work partners, like your colleagues, your managers, your boss, your friends, your family, your parents, your spouse. Like, there's just so many different aspects that we just want to make sure we're taking a 360 approach. So thanks everyone for sharing this time to talk about Valentine's Day. I know it's come and gone. In March, the big event to look forward to in March is St. Patrick's Day, and that always has an impact on relationships. So let's see what kind of feedback, content that we have to share, and looking forward to the next one.
I think it's nice when the partner is taking out each other. Yeah, I think it's nice. It also depends if like the man don't like it, don't celebrate it. If the woman don't celebrate it, don't do it like the next day.
Honestly, Valentine's Day to me is just another day, to be really honest. Unless I'm in a relationship, I make sure that I go out of my way to make sure my girl or the person I'm with, my significant other, enjoys that day. Whether it's, I try to, do the most for her all the time, but that day especially, you gotta make sure the little things matter. I guess you would say me to make things spice up during Valentine's Day. I think I'll do things that she's been talking about, that like things that she may have think that you've forgotten about, or whatever the case is. I don't know. Going and stepping out of the box, I guess you could say, is the real thing that you want to do. Not just on Valentine's Day, just all around, but on Valentine's Day, on those sentimental days and that it means something, you want to step up a little bit more, right?
Bye everyone, it's Binah signing out.